All right. Here's what I'm going to do. Connecting the head doesn't take that long. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it doesn't take that long to demonstrate. This is where you have to use your troubleshooting brain. So I wanted to get a Yoda gif, and I forgot to put the Yoda gif right here. The remember your training. So everyone's going to have a different scenario where your vertex, like here's my nose, here's my eye, and then maybe these verts are lining up, and maybe you did a really good job of paying attention to that, but maybe they're not. Maybe you have a few too many over here, right? So there's different ways to strategize on how to connect these while avoiding triangles. If you have a triangle, what? We're gonna try to definitely not have any angons, and everything's gonna get connected, and we gotta stitch it all together. You can do this with a pen, bridge. I like to use target weld. So some of you are going to have a little bit easier time, and some of you are going to have a harder time. Everyone's going to have to use their brain. So what I want to do is kind of demonstrate my way of doing it and have at it, and then let you guys kind of go and work. So again, second half class, time to work, time to get finished. Some of you might get very close to done today. I just remembered one more tool. So, and then mud box next week. So for Jamar, for Ben, anyone else that uses a PC, John, Ivan, go to Autodesk and download Mudbox as well. I think he's got 23 on there. I think there's a 24 release, but he's got 23. I'll do 23. I haven't done Mudbox in 6 months. I need to refresh myself.
So if you're going to use 23, probably best to use 23 in case you have to turn in Maya files.
Yeah, we shouldn't have to turn in Maya files, but yeah.
Turn in files, otherwise it may not work with you.
Yeah. We'll play blast, and you can always ship it into Maya pretty quickly. Just check in. Oh, you guys got Substance Painter? I'm a little jealous. I need to get Substance Painter. 23. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Jamar, I will be checking in with you in a second. Okay. The awkward moment. I'm going to sit in silence and ask you guys for questions. Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns? Reagan, you good? Christo, you good? Yes.
My image is unloading.
Ah. Did you download them as well?
I needed to download them too.
Yes.
Sure.
You are making good progress, though. So let's learn from Christo, right? So this is true when you're doing any sort of editing as well. So if you're doing like this happens all the time, Christo, with my video projects and my video classes for Premiere. But here's Premiere or Autodesk Maya, right? And I import a picture. So here's my picture, right? I take this picture, I place it in Maya. This picture file does not live in Maya. It's connected like this. If I move the picture, the connection gets broken. If I move the file and take it to another computer, the connection is broken. So you have to have both, and you have to retether them. So you shouldn't have to create a whole new image plane. You should just be able to go download the picture, and then.
I didn't upload the picture.
Oh, you didn't upload it, so you're okay.
Campus.
You got a lot. You can totally freestyle the rest of your head. Your ear you might need.
The nose needs help.
Yeah. Do you have it on your phone? Do you still have it on your phone? You can find a way to airdrop it or tap it. Do you have a droid?
I have a droid. Yeah.
Can we tap it to some other droid and they can email it to you? Can you download an email app and email it to yourself?
Only if it's on a
Are you trying to stay off the grid with your droid?
Only if it's on a battle droid.
Shots, damn it.
I'll be out in a second. All right. Let's see. Chris had a good question. Did I explain well? Oh yeah. Also, wait, to go back to my iteration. The connection's here. Here's my Maya. I'm making hand shapes on purpose like this. Here's my file name. If I change my file name, connection gets broken. So if I call it Jambruno Self-Portrait, and then later I'm cleaning up my desktop and I just call it Mugshot 1, broken. Right? I have to reconnect it in my attribute editor. Same is true for any video editing files too.
When
I'm
it's
sorry,
referencing or connecting to an outside file.
Huh? What do you mean
When it's
outside?
I mean outside, I mean like outside the program, but like in the same folder.
Yeah. Yeah. If it
External
renames, moves, or gets deleted, or the file gets moved without the file itself, it's all a reconnection. Actually, my other animation class, they just borrowed some rigs, and some of them had UV maps, and they had to reconnect the UV maps. Today, the same thing. Good. Any other questions? And we're going to do Mudbox next week. I said that already. Just repeating myself. Okay? What? Everyone look at my screen. Take a pause from your work for a second. Look at my screen. Whoa. What did I forget? Did I forget anything? So I made this list of arrows on the right-hand side because as we go, I'm going to be like, oh, I forgot that. Oh, I forgot that. So target weld. The two that I've been using the most are extruding edges, and then I manipulate the edges, and then I target weld if I need to. Right? Those are probably my two most frequent flyers. And then I've been using a lot of multi-cut. So skipping down to yellow here. I like my arrow. I've been using a lot of multi-cut. Remember, if you hold control, it becomes an edge looper. Insert edge loop. Things I'm going to be using a lot more today are going to be the soft select, the B, and kind of that's good for sculpting. Do you guys know about symmetrical selection? We're going to be doing symmetrical selection probably by the end of today. We know that one? Okay, I'll remind people. Collapse edges and edge wing split. The other guy in that video uses it a lot. I use it every once in a while. Why I have it here is I wanted to show you the command right mouse button and the shift right mouse button. That opens up a whole new set of tools for you guys. And then a pen, polygon, and bridge do the same thing, just slightly different. Right? So I extrude an edge and then target weld. A pen does that all in kind of one step, and bridge does that in one step as well. You just have to pick the right edges. Okay. I think we're ready. These things you should know, I think. Edge loop, mesh combine, extrude. Local versus global. Look! I even had it listed here. I was talking about it. Is it working? Jamar, is it working? You have I? Okay. I'll check. Okay. No?
I haven't gotten it to install yet.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
Okay. If you have an eye, a mouth, and a nose, follow along. Did I say ear? I didn't. So if you're still working on your ear, save as. You could still kind of do most of this, even with or without the ear right now. You can fuse the ear in later. You just got to leave a hole for it, okay? So trying to maximize where we're all at. So, Crystal, you can follow along with what you have, right? You're just going to have to guess at the shape of your head. And you have to do that anyway with your hair, right? And then some are going to have easier times than others. Let's see. All right, let's do it. Let's do a save as. Command, Shift, S. Where do I like saving? I like saving in my downloads. I thought I added you. All right. And now I'm going to do head or self-portrait, finishing, start. It's the beginning of the end. Again, I want to measure your expectations here. When we mirror this bad boy, it's going to look kind of like you and kind of not like you.
A bad clone.
Right? It's going to look like a bad clone. It's going to look like a Walmart version of you, right? A knockoff version of you. There's other things to keep in mind too. We don't have our hair on ourselves yet. We don't have eyes in our eye sockets. We don't have a lot. It'll look a little disturbing if it doesn't look disturbing already. It actually looks better now, and then when you finally piece out the whole head, you're always like, oh. Don't worry. There's a time when you're all done, when you're gonna push and pull a little bit with symmetry selection and soft selection. You're gonna be playing a lot with that in a second. Okay, let's do this. So, as we fuse everything together, you have to troubleshoot with your tools, right? You have to think. Okay, I'm trying to avoid triangles, trying to avoid n-gons. I'm gonna try to avoid stars, but those are new, right? Or poles or nodes. These things here, and you can get away. A few of these you're gonna need, right? I was ragging on myself on that in one video. It's not as bad as I originally thought when I pieced it all together. All right. You might need to add some extra geometry in some tight spaces. Like I might need to add an edge loop here. Okay. Everyone's going to have a different tool for a different situation, right? So I'm going to try to cover a bunch and let you guys have at it. But this step is going to be the same regardless. We need to connect everything. So we got 3 separate pieces. I want to make sure my ear is lined up.
Do you want us to follow along or just
Yes.
watch and then try it on our own?
Let's follow along. I'm not going to speed race this guy. So yeah, get it all nice and lined up. Do a save as. Call it whatchamacallit. And then if you get stuck, just know I'm playing on a lot of open time today. Okay. Here's why I like target weld. One of these is better than the other. Right? I feel like my nose is more representative and more accurate than my cheekbone. So when I target weld, it's going to move these into place. Right? So it kind of, I'll show you one more feature on target weld. So let's start putting these together. Select all 3 in object mode. Just be right click object mode, doesn't matter. And this is why I didn't care where the nodes were. Someone was very concerned that the node for the head object was down there by the origin. And this is why I didn't care. Because when we confuse them all, they're all going to be there. So we're going to go select all 3. Everyone with me? Good. All right. We're going to hit mesh, combine. You guys know that one. Mesh, combine.
Just click mesh combine.
Yep. We don't even need the options. Just combine. And now you can target weld the pieces together.
So mesh combine basically, if you select one piece, it selects all of them instantly.
No. If you are one object, 2 objects, mesh combine makes it 1 object. If I have them as separate objects, I cannot. Why am I getting an Omni tool there?
Oh, I see.
They
Yeah.
all fuse together.
No, they don't fuse together. They just all become one object.
So that I can fuse them together. Right now I can't target weld this guy to this guy because they're 2 separate pieces.
So you can only target weld when 2 objects are the same?
Yes. You can only target weld 1 object with stuff within 1 object's realm. So just to prove a point, right? I'm going to make a sphere. I know I say sphere wrong. I'm going to take out a face, delete some faces. Boop. I'm going to create a cube. Right? Delete some of those faces. Oops. Delete. Can I target weld vertex? Go to target weld? No. Right? I can only target weld to itself. I can't get over there.
Target weld to selection, right?
Yeah. So I select both of these as objects. I hit mesh combine, and now
Since they're the same object, they can be welded.
they can now be welded. Or append polygon. Or go back here. And that's how you combine stuff. Remember how Paul, I should not record this one. Remember how Paul said it has to be watertight? Your arm has to be extruded from the core, and your neck has to be extruded from the head, and everything has to be extruded from everything, right? That's a great way to start modeling. And then you'll watch YouTube, and you'll notice they make a cylinder for an arm. They model the arm, and then they glue it to the torso, and they make things in different pieces. The reason why they can do that is because they're very experienced, and they can be very aware of these vertex counts and make sure that the vertex counts mix up, and they've practiced the tools that we're about to do with merging stuff together. So for a beginner, that single extrusion with one object is great. You can start to venture off from that later. So in case, don't go to Paul cursing him, saying, "You told us the wrong way." No. His way is great for beginning. Okay, so once again, all three objects, mesh combine. All right. Now, I knew what I was doing, kind of. And so these are obvious connections. Up here, it's going to get tricky. The ear we can do last, and the ear we're going to have to get a little, there's way too much geometry for the ear for what I'm about to produce with the head.
I got a question.
So we're going to have some collapsing going on here. Yeah.
Are we going to close that sort of opening that we created at the front of the ear right here?
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to close that up here like this. Right. So what I like to do is I'm going to give one more row of edges to this face, right? That's going to get, look what you just asked. Little weird opening, little weird face right here. I know I'm going to need some extra edges here. This is going to be this is going to take time and work. This is going to get ugly when we get over here. But for right now, it's going to be easy. So you can, if you feel like you got enough geometry, you can target weld each one of these together. So I can target weld this edge to this edge, or if I like go in vertexes, this vertex to this vertex to this vertex. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself one more edge. And I'm going to already delete some faces. There we go. There we go. I'm going to connect, let's say, I'm going to go from this edge, so not the top of my scalp, all the way down to right below my temple. Double click. Oops, it went the wrong way. That's the shortest distance. So I'm going to have to go 1, 2, 3, double click. Nope. I'm going to unselect these guys. That seems to be the way. And because I have this, you might want to just fuse them together. I know I got these jowl lines. I got this jowl line right here. I got this cheek. It's going to give my cheek a little bit more definition by making this one little edge. And then I know I just need a few more edges anyway here to connect to my vertices, so I don't mind doing this. So I'm going to extrude from here. I'm going to hit extrude. I'm going to keep it local, and I'm going to grab the Y like that. Just a little bit.
Which one's the Y?
The green. It's color-coded. Jamar, this thing, right? It's or if you even, all right. There's a hotkey for it. Type in keep face, Maya, keep faces together, hotkey. I wonder if you can still work with your old system. All right. Now that I've extruded that edge, I'm going to weld these together. I like the shape of my cheek, so I'm going to fuse that with target weld. I'm going to do edges. Bop. Bop. I'm going to do edges until edges don't make sense. Bop. Ooh, problem. Everyone see a problem? Mm-hmm. All right. First problem.
Multi-cut.
Multi-cut or edge loop, yep. That's probably going to be the solution.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Did that fix your old file?
No, I was searching it after what you asked.
Ah. I think for the sake of simplicity, and I haven't really cranked up my poly. Now, if I'm going for low poly, here's one thing that could happen. Ask yourself, do I need this edge? Oops, let me do that again. Command delete. That's really flattening out my nose. That really helps sculpt it. I really like that edge. Right? Could I get away with a diamond? Right? What's a diamond? I could delete that face, and then I weld. Nope, that's not going to work either. So I think my answer is going to be edge loop. So I can do multi-cut or insert edge loop. Mesh tools, multi-cut. So I like using this feature now because I like staying with one tool. So if I choose multi-cut instead of edge loop, but then hold the control key, I get an edge loop right there. Bump. Oop. Hit Q. And now I got my vertices to weld together. I'm still going in the release direction of the nose. All right. Okay. I'll get rid of this face too. So now what I'm trying to do is figure out how I want to square this all together. And now I'm going to be using my reference photos. And this edge, this vert needs to come out more. Do I want to target weld that? Yes. No? What's overlapping? What looks weird? Kind of like that. Don't forget, I forgot to write it down. Don't forget to make me share out the Konami code to make everything flat symmetrical along this edge. I know you learned that. I'm gonna get rid of it. So this was great. I like the way that this is looking. I got to work on that vertice there. When I get to this problem area, and even though I practiced this at 3 o'clock today, I'm already forgetting what I did. I'm going to bring this extrusion back up. Command E. And everyone's going to have a slightly different problem here. So I'm going to pull that up, shrink that, and then target weld both of those guys. Vertex. I could also go sideways and then connect that way too. Mesh tools, target weld. Mesh tools, target weld. All right. I'm going to delete this face. And now, I'm going to bring that edge up. All right, what's happening here is I'm getting a pinch. I need to somehow get less vertices here so that this can kind of smooth all together. Does everyone see my concern and problem? Yes? Everyone sees the struggle? Yes. Yeah. Aren't you glad that I show how to struggle? Come on, get that vertex. What happened here? Oh, these guys aren't connected. Okay. Get out of there. I want to get to the good stuff. There we go. That's going to be my common phrase. I'm just moving stuff out of the way to kind of make it so I can read it a little bit better. Okay. I'm going to collapse this edge. So one thing I like to do, and one thing you'll see, actually I can't collapse that edge. I'm going to create another edge loop here because this is a vertex, right? This is getting a little stretched. Like these faces here are getting really warped and twisted. And what's going to really help relieve that twist is going to be an edge loop. So we go here and mesh, multi-cut. And again, holding control gives me this nice little sculpting spot. Let's see. Okay. And then delete those faces. There it is. That's the vertex I wanted. Oh, okay. All right. Now, I've decided that this is my, let's say, meridian, for lack of a better word, right? And so what you want to do is piece by piece extrude out, trying to keep your quad. So this little triangle is the toughest. You can do it, and I could connect here, fill hole, and just multi-cut the way through. I could also try to extrude and match things up. So I'm going to hit extrude here. Let's try my way first. Target weld that. Boop. There you go. I was not looking forward to this lecture, because this is where the rubber meets the road. Lift that up. Okay. I'm going to extrude. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a fill hole. Right here to right here. So I got these two edges. I'm going to mesh bridge. Add a mesh bridge. Where's bridge? Bridge. Bridge. Bamp. And then this mesh fill hole. Let's check my that shouldn't. I thought I had one. That's a quad right there. And so I just got. I'm sorry. That was a horrible demo. I was like, here's a problem, and then I accidentally fixed it. So that was a quad there. What I could have also done, what I was hoping what would happen was it was more than 4 vertices, and I could have multi-cut my way out of here to this edge to kind of get to fix my quads. So if you are having some triangles, I just got stupid lucky on that. If you have some triangles over in this area or some n-gons, what you do is you multi-cut. Oops, let's go to 1. You can multi-cut, and as long as you're cutting to out here, you're going to wind up with quads, right? So as long as you kind of finish, I did a bad example, but as long as you end towards your nose or your eye, you're not going to wind up with an n-gon. Does that make sense? I feel really bad. So this is called a diamond. Does everyone see why they call it a diamond? So a diamond usually fixes a triangle. It looks kind of like a triangle because you have a set of vertices that's near flat. But that's what you're going to do to fix those things. Okay. Still not 100% on my nose. I'm going to put edge loops on my nose at the end. That'll be when we get back from break. All right. Deep breaths is right. Deep breaths. Ooh, I'm liking that. This thing right here, sometimes you get edges that are too close together. and creates these creases. That'll happen in smooth mode. We can use soft select and kind of fan those out and smush those and tinker those around a little bit. We'll smooth that part out once we have the head done. Our goal is to have a nice clean meridian. Our goal right now before we do the next step is to have this nice clean halfway line that's all connected from the top of my forehead down to my chin. So there's a gap with the eye, and our goal is to close that up right now. The cheek should be pretty easy to close up. It's the halfway line. Don't freak out. I'm going to stop recording and start recording again. I like to have things piecemealed.